chơi về điện thoại nữa chứ. Bé lớn chưa xài bây giờ. Cái đèn này hư rồi, cháy rồi. Ba anh chờ hỏi em nói đèn hư. Tại ngoài lần sau ở đây là nó sáng. Có thay được.
Man, it's such a shame I can't wear my Ryan Gosling Drive 2010 jackets when I'm in Vietnam. I simply cannot be cool here. I can't be the coolest person anymore. Imagine me wearing this to the wedding. Anyways, there's a time and place for everything. As you all know, my friend is getting married tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And weddings are big events here in Vietnam. It's an event that involves the whole generation of your family. Yeah, it's an ancestral thing involving everybody from your bloodline. And my friend, like many other Vietnamese, his wedding is gonna be one of those big events. And so, as you can all imagine, there's a lot of stresses, lots of preparation, lots of headache because of all of these traditions. If you come from a traditional family, you would know what I mean. Like, these events, the elders are going to tell you one thing and then you're going to want to do certain things. But yeah, you got to keep the family tradition, man. As you can probably see from the previous clips, I went to see my grandmother's grave this morning. And don't get me wrong, I have deep respect for my elders, and I really do treasure my traditions, these family values, and my family in general. I feel so blessed to even have a family to go to. But these traditions, these hassles, just puts more stresses on our kids from today's time. We want to keep the family traditions, we want to please the elders, but we also want to move with society, and it's hard. In the East or in the West, it's the same thing. Family traditions and trying to keep up with society, they often don't go hand in hand. And to be honest, I think gravesites are more for the living rather than the dead, because when I visit my grandmother's tomb, I looked around me and I saw this great creativity in people's minds. Some people are so creative at decorating these gravesites. One even has a swing for you to sit on to watch your grandmother's grave. One has a chair with some shades, some trees, some decorations. Ours, my grandmother, has a grave that has 24/7 music playing. That's right, my mother has a grave that has 24/7 Buddhist music playing. Plays that 24/7, and if the battery never runs out, it runs on solar power. And yeah, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling how people nowadays just want to possess everything, just want to own everything in this world. You know, like I didn't know the gravesite was owned by a company, and they actually pay workers to maintain the gravesites. These workers get a salary. Yeah, like people own these lands, and our family has to pay these people's money in order to bury my grandmother here and to have workers maintain our gravesites. I thought it's a family thing. I thought we just buy the land and be done with it. But no, we have to pay rent. That's right, when my grandmother is dead, we still have to pay rent for her. It's mind-boggling. Sometimes I think gravesites are for the living, because it's a way for us grandchildren to come there and remember our great-grandmother. Don't get me wrong, I love my grandmother. I want to pay this respect to her, but it feels like she doesn't need that, man. She's dead. She doesn't need all of these flashy things. And also, like, when my mom and my uncle were praying, like, we were joking about this in the car as well. My mom, she was praying, and my uncle, by the way, we're not religious whatsoever, but when it comes to people dying, suddenly we become Buddhists. But we don't even practice any religion. I call myself a Christian. My family, they are supposed to be Buddhist, but we are not religious whatsoever. But when it comes to family, when it comes to our ancestors, suddenly we become religious. And so my mother, she never prays, but then when she saw my grandmother's grave, she was praying. She was like, bà ơi, ban phước. She was praying, Mother, please bless our family with good health and give us the blessing to be able to make a lot of money. And I was thinking to myself, my grandmother is already dead, and yet my mom and my uncle are still asking her to do work. Do you see how ridiculous this is? Firstly, she's dead. She doesn't have any want or needs, and now she's still paying rent. Now she's still being asked to work to give us blessings. I told my dad, I was joking about this. By the way, this is all funny. This is all fun and games. I was joking to my dad. I was saying, I'm not gonna ask grandmother for anything. She's already dead. She doesn't need to do anything other than resting. So I said to my grandmother, Grandmother, you don't need to give me anything. We can look after ourselves. You just rest. You've done enough for us when you were living. And that's it. Anyways, last night, I went for a massage with my sister and my friend who's about to get married, and then my other friend who's in Australia as well. We're all living in Australia. We all came back here to see my friend getting married. So yeah, we all went for a massage. It was interesting. I've been to a massage place before, also with my sister, and unironically also with another friend of hers who got married maybe, I would say 2 years ago. Yeah, she also got married. And we went to a Thai massage with I went with my sister and her friend 2 years ago to a Thai massage. And my comments from that session was that I felt like I was being tortured. They were pulling my hair, they were choking me. Like, that's how I felt. And so it was interesting back then. And last night it was even more interesting. You know what they did? You know what they did to me? I thought I was the only one, but apparently they did it to everybody as well. Apparently this is normal. But yeah, what they did to me was interesting. So they pulled down my pants, right? So my butt cheeks were exposed. And then, yeah, like they were touching my butt, man. I don't know if you can tell already, but I'm a very ticklish person. And so when they started touching like really sensitive areas, I started giggling uncontrollably, to the point that my friend who's getting married was getting massage next door to me. By the way, all the boys got booked into the same room, so all the boys are in the same room. And to make it even worse, all the masseuses are females. We're all getting operated on by girls. And yeah, so I was giggling uncontrollably, and the girl next door who was giving massage to my friend, she looked over and she saw me shaking uncontrollably. So she said to the masseuse that was operating on me, she said, "What did you do to him? What did you do to him to make him laugh so much?" And I told him I was ticklish. And so we started laughing. And then I don't know why they started asking me these really personal questions. She's asked me, do you come here often? And at some point she even asked me, what year was I born? Now, this is another interesting thing. Pronouns. In Vietnam, you're meant to use the correct pronouns for different people. So when you're talking to someone older than you, you're meant to address them as your senior, and younger than you, your junior. There are different pronouns for females and males. For an older female, you're meant to call them auntie or sister, older sister. For younger females, younger sister. But here's the interesting part. For people whom you respect, you always assume that they are older than you, and you address them as your senior. I couldn't wrap my head around this, but last night when this masseuse was giving me a massage, she addressed me as her senior. But during the massage, she asked me what year was I born, and I told her. And then everybody started laughing, and I was thinking to myself, wait, did I say something wrong? And it turns out that this woman was actually older than me. Vietnamese women are very deceptive. They look so young, they look so petite. Their wrists are small as freak, man. Like, I feel like I'd snap them. But yeah, they look really youthful, and that's a compliment. By the way, don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way. Do not take this the wrong way. I'm not attracted to young kids. This is a compliment. They look very youthful and beautiful. But yeah, she asked me what year was I born. I told her, and everybody went silent. And she told me, I was born on this year. No, not this year, but she gave me her birth year. And my friend who was getting married turned to me and said, you meant to address her as your older sister, as your senior. Anyways, yeah, it was a really fun experience. But when it comes to pain, when it comes to the reception, and we all had to gather around to pay the bills, I didn't know that the tip was included in the price. Like, that was something that threw me off guard, because normally in Australia, when you pay for a service, you pay for the price, and if you feel obligated, if you feel like the service was exceptional, then you can voluntarily add a tip. But here, when you pay for a service, sometimes they don't tell you up front. They don't tell you the full cost. There's some hidden cost in there, and the tip, this lady at the reception told us that all of the customers have to pay a mandatory tip. By the way, this is not a lot of money, but I still feel a little bit cheated on for some reason. Like, we had to pay a mandatory fee as well as a mandatory tip. That is not a tip, that is a fee. But anyways, I guess you live and learn, right? Maybe they thought we looked foreign. Maybe they thought that we might not return anymore, so that's why they didn't tell us upfront about the cost. I don't know. There's still lots for me to learn. There's still lots of hidden rules and traditions that I'm not familiar with, even though I can call myself a full-blood Vietnamese man. There's still many things I still don't understand. There's so many words, so many jokes that I don't get because I'm not fully immersed in this environment, this culture. Even though I can very comfortably call myself a Vietnamese and Australian. Yeah, but that's just my story. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Stay strong. God bless, and I'll speak to you at some point.